Are you sick and tired of dealing with a million cords every time you want to cook up some meat? Or maybe you've never even used a thermometer when cooking meat. Well, I'm going to introduce you to the Inkbird Wireless Meat Thermometer. This will help get rid of all of your cord problems, and if you haven't been cooking with a meat thermometer, it'll elevate your cooking game to the next level. The best way to show you that is to walk you through some of my favorite things to cook with this thermometer. First thing I want to show you how to cook is a nice salmon fillet. Pull up the Inkbird app and click on the INT-11P-B. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get the thermometer out. So your internal temp is the tip here. Your ambient temp is going to be this side over here. Let's pick a target temp. We're going to cook some salmon. So let's go here. I like to set mine for 120. Hit complete. And now we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and season our salmon. I'm just using some lemon pepper. Both sides. And now, let's insert our meat thermometer. We want to try and get it in the middle of the meat this way and toward the middle of the thickness. When you have a thick side and a thin side, I come in from the thin side, so that way the tip will end up at the thickest point. Okay, and we're ready to go. For your pan, set it on medium-high heat. Put just a little spray or oil down. And now let's go on with the salmon. Yeah. So we've hit about 66 degrees. So let's go ahead and flip it. You want to make sure your salmon moves freely. You don't want it stuck. Oh yeah. Our timer just went off. We hit 120. Now let's go in for a bite. So real quick, I took it off at 120 degrees and it's been sitting here for about 2 minutes and already we've got a carryover temp of 127. So that's why I like to take it off a little below because it's going to carry over and keep cooking. So let's go in for a bite. Let's get the probe out. That was dumb. That was good. Perfect flaky salmon. Check it out. It's got the perfect flake to it. It's not dry. It's still moist. Perfect. Next item, potatoes. You can boil them, you can mash them, you can even bake them. So the perfect baked potato, you got to get it to the right temp. So we are going to use our wireless thermometer to make sure our baked potato gets to the perfect temp before we pull it out. And you might think getting this in here might be kind of hard, which it is. These things are built pretty robust. I'm surprised. It's actually got some heft to it. So what you can do if you're having a hard time getting it in your potato, is you go ahead and take a drill bit. Kidding aside, if you are having a hard time getting it in, bake it for 15-20 minutes, pull it out, get some tongs, and then push it in. But if you are determined, you can get it in. It's not too hard. You just want to make sure you're in the middle, as usual. Make sure that line is in far enough. And if you have other potatoes a similar size, you can bake more than one at a time. You don't need multiple thermometers. You can just use the one. So we are going to coat these in a little bit of oil and some sea salt. So go ahead and rub them in the skin. This can help the skin get some good flavor and some good crisp. Roll them around your board, get all that extra salt. And I usually like to go through with a fork or a knife and just poke a bunch of little holes in here to let some of that moisture evaporate out and allow that skin to crisp up. So just go through all of them and poke some holes, just not in your fingers. Then we're gonna stick these into an oven we've preheated to 450 degrees, and we'll keep an eye on it in the app. In the app, I'm gonna set it, so we're gonna come in the app. I just do customized cooking, where is it, vegetable? And I go all the way to 203. That's the max it'll go, because I like my baked potatoes soft. Set it for 203, set to 450 degrees. You don't need to tin foil them, just leave them like this the entire time. The great thing here is we don't have to open this and check on it. We don't have to poke it with a fork or a thermometer and check it. The app will just let us know when it hits 203 and we can pull them out and get a perfect baked potato. Our baked potato is ready. It hit 203 and we pulled it out. So let's go ahead and get the thermometer out. Remember not to touch it with your bare hands. Okay. And now listen to this. Nice, crispy skin. Let's cut it open. Take a look at that. Now let me show you how I prefer to do a baked potato. Grab a bowl. We're gonna scoop all this soft potato goodness into the bowl. The stuff I kind of want to melt, I like to put in first, which I forgot to do on the first one. So I like to put a little cheese in there, a little butter. Scoop in the rest. Okay, now we've got our mixture here. I like to add a bit of salt, sour cream, and mix it up. Oh, and don't forget pepper. And before you put it back in, give it a taste. That's ready. So, and add it to our potatoes. Now we've got some delicious baked potato cooked to perfection thanks to our thermometer. A nice thick steak. This method works really well on a thicker steak such as this, about 1.5 inches thick, okay? Now I gotta wash my hands, I don't know why I touched it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the app. Let's go ahead and set the target. We're gonna go beef. We're gonna set it for 110. Trust me, that's not when we're gonna eat it. Okay? So we've set it for 110 because that's when we're gonna be done smoking it or baking it, depending on what you choose to do. And then we're gonna sear it after that, which will help bring it up to like 125, a perfect medium rare. Make sure it's in the middle, both the middle here and the middle here. Now let's take it out and put it on the smoker. Our smoker is right around 250 degrees. If you're doing this in the oven, set it at 250 degrees. Put it on a cooling rack if you have one so it promotes airflow. Let's go ahead and put our steak on the smoker. And then we can go ahead and monitor it from the app and it will tell us the temperature of the smoker and the meat at the same time. Our alert just went off. We hit 110 internal, ambient is 225. So we're gonna pull the steak off, put it on a plate, okay? Take a look at that. So obviously it's not done and ready to eat. But what we're gonna do now is get a pan searing hot or get your grill searing hot, take the probe out, and we're just gonna put a nice crust on it and then it will be ready. Okay, we've got our grill now roaring hot. We've taken the thermometer out because these high temperatures will ruin it. But all we're doing is just putting a nice crispy, what would you call it? Not bark, but We're just trying to put a nice sear on it. So, rip roaring hot. Put it on. We're gonna leave it for about 30 seconds and shift it. Okay, we've had it on for about a minute. Let's go ahead and flip it over. As you can see, it's starting to form a nice crust. It's not quite there, but it's close. Okay, this thing is done. We've got a nice sear on both sides. Check that out. Smells delicious. Let's go in and try a bite. Let's go ahead and slice it up and try a bite. Oh, it looks perfect. Look at that perfect medium rare. Let's go in for a bite. By smoking it first, it really enhanced the flavor. And having this thermometer let me know when it was 110, helped get a perfect medium rare. And this steak turned out delicious. Last and certainly not least is anytime I cook something on my smoker, specifically one that isn't regulated like a pellet smoker or something like that, what's great about the probe is it will tell me what the temp of the smoker is, so I know if I need to come add charcoal, check on it, and I can just check it all from my phone. And it will also tell me the temperature of the meat and alert me when the meat is ready. So what's great is you can use this on several different meats on your smoker. You can be in another part of your house, in your backyard, somewhere else, check in on it, see if you even need to come bother. So, great addition to the barbecue arsenal. The Inkbird Wireless Thermometer. Hopefully you've learned today why one of these can help you be a better cook or make your life a whole lot easier. Check in the description below for a link where you can get one for yourself.